welcome to CHeri Knits. I love knitting and I want you to love it too. Today we're going to take a look at picking up stitches. We're going to look at stockinette stitch, how to go up the side and across the top. Let's get started. Let's take a look at how to pick up stitches in stockinette stitch. We're going to be picking up stitches along the side and also along the bound off edge. There might be a time when you need to pick up stitches along the cast on edge, but that happens really similar to the bound off edge. So we'll look at those two today. We're going to turn our work and start in this corner down here. And I'm going to use contrast yarn so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. But I'm going to start way down in the corner. Now you might be picking up stitches to create an edge like a button band for a sweater. And so you need to make sure that you're coming all the way down to the bottom to make kind of a corner, a nice corner edge. You don't want to start up here. You want to, or even here. You want to go all the way to the bottom. Grab 2 strands and we'll start. Now when you're picking up stitches, you're staying 1 stitch in. So this is our edge stitch, our selvage stitch. And then here's column 2, that's the second stitch. You're going to be picking up stitches right in between here. And you're going to anchor your tail in your left hand about 6 or 8 inches. So you've got some to weave in later. Enter the stitch, that's the pickup. Wrap the stitch and knit it through. You're looking, as you look in between these 2 columns of stitches, you'll see these spaces here. And that's where you're sticking the needle. And normally with like a worsted chunky weight, you want to get about 3 stitches for every 4 possibilities. So here's my first one. Here's my second one. Here's the third one. And now I'm going to skip the 4th one and come right over here. Skip the 4th, sorry. There's the first one. So 1, 2, 3. Can you see that space there? And then there's a 4th possibility, but I'm going to skip it and go to the next one. And the cool thing about this is as you're doing it, your stitches want to separate in the groups that you're picking them up, but when you knit across it, you won't see that separation. It's nice because it makes for easy counting. So you can just count 1, 2, 3. You know, you can count your groups of, let's make that 3rd one there. And then you can easily keep track of how many stitches you've picked up. But I promise you that when you work across that first row, those little gaps that you're seeing are going to disappear. And so I said for worsted weight and chunky, it's usually about 3 out of 4 stitches you get. So I've got my 1, 2, 3. So I'm skipping the 4th place and going to the next one and working up. Now, the reason I'm not picking up every single one is because this is the side of the piece. These are rows, and I'm picking up stitches, and your stitch and row gauge are never the same in stockinette stitch or most fabrics. So that's why you have to skip some. All right, and then you would just continue going all the way up. Let's now take a look at picking up along the top. So here again, we want to come over, we want to get the corner of the fabric. And typically you want to do this on the right side with the public side, the right side of your work facing, so that any edge that's created from this is on the inside or the wrong side. So I picked up my stitch, wrap, bring it through, and I'm just picking up the bound off stitches. That was the first one. Here's, oh, there we go. This is why you want to use your fingers to hold things on. So wrap, bring it through, and then go into the next one. Your bound off stitch, make sure you get both strands. You don't just want to get one strand. You want both strands. Wrap it,
Use your index finger of your left hand to help you get that through and continue across. Now this one, with picking up along the bound off edge or a cast on edge, you will get every stitch because you're picking up the same direction that you were knitting. So it's just a 1-to-1 ratio. It makes it really easy to pick up stitches. And look how nice that looks. If for some reason your bound off stitches were really, really tight, you could dip down and get the stitches below. It's going to give you a little extra edge, a little extra seam. But instead of focusing on the bound off stitches, if you look at the fabric and you see the stitch right below that V, you would just go through the center of it to the back and knit through. Not the space in between the V's, but actually the center of the V. So there's one more, go through, knit it through. So that's the pickup and that's the knit. Both of these are okay to do, just be consistent. You don't want to change like I did mid project because it will take you down to a different line, but they both look really good. This has just a slightly thicker edge, which is fine. It's just fine. So whatever you think is easier, whatever looks better for your project, that is what you should do.
Thanks for joining me today. I hope this was helpful and that you are now able to pick up your stitches with confidence. We'll see you next time.